All right. My name is Hozefa Merchant. I work for Greenpeace as a nuclear campaigner. Uh, I'm not really an expert on this subject. I mean, a lot of people who presented before you are subject matter experts. I'm not. But I have been working on nuclear issues since 2010 in various different capacities, and I've been tracking the issue, and what I'm presenting is based on that. As Mr. Neeraj Jain said, he spoke about Anil Kakodkar. But one thing about we should also know about this guy is that he is a member of Atomic Energy Commission, and he is also on the board of directors of Walchand Nagar Private Limited. Now, Walchand Nagar is the same company that signed a memorandum of understanding with Zeopodolsk, the Russian company that is building equipments for Kudankulam. Now, Zeopodolsk was in 2012 charged for corruption. They were building equipments with really low quality raw material, and they were siphoning off a lot of funds, and that came in media. It was picked up. The procurement director of the company was charged, and he is in the jail right now. So this is what nuclear industry is in India. It's not really an industry because it's not really judged on parameters of transparency, accountability, or profits and loss, or any of the economic parameters that other industries are judged. It's a privileged industry where there are no rules and regulations that these guys have to follow. They have been given this resources of precious resources that we all work hard to, like our tax money, given to them to just waste. And that's what's happening. What I'd like to talk about to you today is on the Nuclear Safety Regulatory Authority. It's a bill which was drafted after Fukushima. In 2011, when Fukushima happened, a lot of other countries realized that it's not safe and they have to do a lot of things, such as, and one of the biggest things that they realized was transparency and accountability. India, of course, didn't realize that, or it did, but they didn't really want to do anything about it. So it came up with this Nuclear Safety Regulatory Authority bill, and they said that they will make the nuclear regulator in India independent. The current regulator is not independent. It reports to the Atomic Energy Commission of India, of which people like, Anil Kakodkar is a respectable, he's highly achieved, he's a significant, he's a big personality, but he's also the board of director of a private company. There's a clear conflict of interest. So Nuclear Regulatory Authority, the current regulator, it reports to such people, unfortunately. Now, so the bill, according to the way it's been drafted, and it's expected to be presented in the parliament this session. There is a budget session, and if it doesn't come up, it will come up in the next session, that is the monsoon or the winter session. But it's going to happen this year. They have replaced the Atomic Energy Commission with a Council for Nuclear Safety. Now the people involved in this council is the Prime Minister, Ministers of Health, Environment, Science, Finance, also the Chairman of Atomic Energy Commission, and also the Cabinet Secretary, who also happens to be the member of Atomic Energy Commission. Now this commission will make rules and regulations that will monitor and that will basically govern the nuclear industry, the so-called nuclear industry in India. I don't think this is independent at all. They claim that this new regulator will be independent, but this is not independent. This is basically covering up. It's a quasi-independent regulator. One of the things, I don't want to go into too many details because it's quite a complex thing, and I want you to do your own research. So maybe I will just mention a few things, and you can go back, Google it, and find out for yourself. All of this is online. It's publicly available. One of the clause in the bill reads like this: the authority shall subject to the provisions of this act and the rules and regulations made thereunder take measures within its jurisdiction to ensure that the use of radiation and atomic energy is safe for the health of radiation workers, members of public, and the environment. Now this bill was tabled in the parliament in 2011. It was sent to the Standing Committee of India, and then of course because of the election the bill lapsed. So this is again going to be tabled in the parliament. Now when it was sent to the Standing Committee, on this particular clause that what I read, the disposition by the industry was this, that we no longer need to mention the amount of hours a worker works in the plant, or the amount of radiation, that we don't need to put a number to it, that amount of radiation that the worker is exposed to. And surprisingly, the standing committee agreed to it. In their recommendation, they said it's not required. So how is this new act stronger than what we already have, which is not really strong at all? So instead of getting a strong act, we're getting even a weaker act. Another clause in the same act is, this NSRA, the new regulatory authority, will discharge its functions and powers in a manner consistent with the international obligations of India. What does that even mean? It means that if we say Kudankulam is not good for India, means we are saying something like the Russian reactor is not good, and therefore we are basically saying we are pointing a finger at Russia, which is not in consistent with India's obligation, international obligation. Like, what does it mean? What does it mean? And why is it even there in the regulator? For one simple reason, is that no control as what NPCIL, the Nuclear Power Corporation of India, does. Nobody can point a finger on the reactor or on the technology or on whatever deals India signs with different countries. It just purely means one thing: it's not for us. These deals that are being signed between India and France, India and Russia, India and Japan, India and US, they're not really in our favor. It's as simple as that. Now what we need to ask for instead of this, we need to come together and fight for this bill, because this bill is really strong and it's important. If it is passed in its current form, then we all, well, sorry for my language, but we're all screwed. So other countries, how is this different in other countries? There are various different best practices that other countries follow. One of that is the local information committee. Countries like France and even recently Japan has adopted it after Fukushima. This committee is made up of local community members, teachers, principals, doctors and such, politicians even, activists as well. And they are mandated with a task to challenge the regulator. So if a regulator says, hey, this place is good, there is no radiation here, people in the vicinity are falling sick, they go to the local information committee, they say that although the regulator says that this is safe, I don't feel that well. I went to the doctor and the doctor said this may be the possibility. So they go to the local information committee, they dispose in front of them, they say that we feel that this is not safe, this area is not safe. We would want an independent agency or authority to come and check that, to verify authorities' regulatory's claim. And this is allowed. In France it's allowed. In Japan they've had this. But the NSRA, the bill the way it's drafted, it doesn't mention any of the best practices around the world. So this is what we are going to ask for from the government this time. We're going to challenge them on this. We have a critique ready on this, which will be available on our website for people to download and see. And of course, we'll also want to go and talk to the government about it. So that's about it. Thank you for your time.
Welcome, Prashant. Dr. Gopal Krishnan, Admiral Ramdas.
Oh, we just have a good news.
Yes.
The Kudankulam site director has been awarded a prize by the Russians for running the plant so efficiently.
Order of friendship.
That's called you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. And when I was listening to Hozefa, I could not help remembering how many things we are able to actually change around. You all know that in Goa recently they have taken a decision that the coconut tree is no longer a tree, so that they do not have to have permission from the forest department or the environment ministry before they can cut down the trees. You can imagine who was behind that. There's also a news item last week that rice is going to be declared as a weed and not rice, so that then you will have no further injunctions or blocks in the way of taking over a certain amount of land. So That I just said, the coconut tree in Goa, exactly, no longer a tree. Anyway, questions please.
Coconut trees become an animal.
Yes. Please introduce yourself. Yeah, hello, there's a question. Excuse me.
So question to you, you shown so many picture on the.
You want to come here?
No. It's, I can. So you shown here so many pictures regarding the health disaster. Is it happening in the countries like France also? What the people doing there? What is their condition there?
Yeah. See, there was a French scientist who visited us in Pune, and when I showed her these photographs, I said there must be similar photographs for nuclear power plants around France. She said yes, there must be. The problem is that the nuclear industry is so powerful that no surveys are done like that. So, I mean, she said that, I asked her quite frankly that if this is happening in India, this must be happening everywhere. So where are your photographs? She said we have none because no one does any such surveys because of the power of the nuclear industry. But we know for sure the death rate of the miners, that is there. The evidence is there of at what rate people are dying, and we also have evidence from nuclear accidents like 3 Mile Island. We have evidence from Chernobyl, we have evidence from Fukushima, but routine radiation evidence from other places, those photographs are not there for well, they've not done it. So
I have a point. I read somewhere some time ago that there is an agreement between World Health Organization and IAEA that no nuclear related accidents will be investigated
by WHO.
by anybody. So there is a gag order. Is it true?
Yes.
Is it so? How dangerous it is?
That's correct.
How dangerous it is if it is true?
There was a major nuclear seminar on the impact of Chernobyl organized by the WHO, and a scientist who participated in that, we've quoted that in our book. The scientist who participated in that, he said immediately after the seminar the IAEA came down hard on the WHO that you are violating the agreement, and all the proceedings were never published. He said that had the papers come out, it would have been an absolute disaster for the nuclear industry. The scientist is on record as saying that. I'll give you the figures. I have the date in my book. So the fact is that the WHO has an agreement. The World Health Organization is supposed to investigate the world's health problems, like this Zika virus they are investigating and they are declaring it an international emergency. So the WHO is supposed to investigate all international health problems. Therefore, the WHO should have investigated the impact of Chernobyl in nuclear in at least the northern hemisphere. But the WHO has a formal agreement with the IAEA that the WHO will not investigate, and the IAEA, which is a body to promote nuclear energy, it will investigate health related problems. It will never. So the IAEA report on Chernobyl is 80 people have died and they have closed, they have said the issue is over. And there is a report by a group of very eminent scientists from Eastern Europe and Russia. The report has been published by the US Academy of Sciences, the New York Academy of Sciences, which says, I just mentioned that 10 lakh people have died from 86 to 2004. So that is the gap between IAEA and the hard facts. So you are right in that, which is why we really don't know what's happening around nuclear reactors, because there is no study done.
All right, anybody with one last question? Yes, there's somebody there at the back. I'm sorry, the light is in my eyes, I can't see you.
between the health radiation exposure effect between the uranium plants and the plutonium plants like that fast breeder plants. Is there any radiation difference?
Well, radiation is radiation. The difference is that plutonium lives on for lakhs of years. So the impact will be much more terrible. I mean, I can't understand the logic behind building these PFBRs when the world over, as Ramana said, they have abandoned it. But we keep building it and we keep claiming that sooner or later we will build it. It's like Kudamkulam, na? They will keep claiming we are building it. We should thank God that it did not, that the reactor has not started. No, no, Kalpakam. Yeah, that's what I said. We should thank God that they have stopped it so many times. Then.
Dr. Pugar, you want to add anything on the radiation? Yeah, because I thought this is your area.
See, the point is that the government, I mean, Mr. Niraj Jain has pointed out, I mean, something on Dr. Goffman. See, I would like to say here one point. Like, if you look at the carcinogenic potential of an X-ray, it is much more than the carcinogenic potential of the atomic bomb. Please understand this. See, that is the scientific truth which is universally accepted. So, see, the difference is very simple. So, we tend to believe that atomic bombs are more dangerous and the X-ray is not as dangerous as atomic bombs. But the plain scientific truth is that the carcinogenic potential of an X-ray is much more than the carcinogenic potential of the atomic bomb. Both, that is X-ray as well as the atomic bomb, they cause damage to the body. But then it all depends upon the repair mechanism and the ability of the body to identify that something wrong had happened in the body. X-ray as well as this atomic bomb, they cause damage to the body. But how does a cancer occur? It is undetected, minute damage taking place at DNA at two different locations is the initiation of cause of cancer. So, the atomic bomb causes damage, but then the body senses it and it kills the cell. This is called apoptosis technically. So, that is how the cancer possibility is eliminated. Whereas, the problem caused by X-ray is very minute and it goes undetected. That is why the body is not in a position to find out that something wrong had happened. That is why they say that this X-ray is much more carcinogenic. If you look at the carcinogenic potential, the X-ray is much more carcinogenic than the atomic bomb. So, any amount of radiation is harmful, as we all know that there is no safe dose as far as radiation is concerned. So, this we must understand, and this clearly differentiates radiation from other sources of poisoning, other sources of slow poisons. We need to know that European Union has banned the usage of X-rays for screening the international passengers in the year November 2011. They quote an American study, that is National Academy of Sciences study 2006, saying that even if the dosage is less, it does pose a risk to the cancer. That is why European Union has banned the usage of X-rays for screening the international passengers. Of course, they are using high radio frequency waves they are using, but that doesn't contain what we technically call ionizing radiation. So, any amount of radiation is dangerous, and it is wise not to go for these nuclear reactors. Thank you.